Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday to you. I hope you are doing well. I just wanted to come on for a minute and talk to you before you move on after Friday of this week. Here it is, 8 weeks. You've done it, and you've done a great job. Um, Remember that we have the online writing lab here at Concordia. So if you ever feel that you need to, have a paper looked over, a draft of your paper looked over, then you can submit it to the lab, and they'll give you some great feedback. And it's the OWL, the online writing lab. So consider that for all of your classes. It's a good way for you to make sure that your work is at master level work when you turn it in. Just a reminder about your book report. The things that I'm looking for, somebody asked me about specific pages, and so I thought, "Oh, I'm going to go on and make sure that they know. I'm not looking for a specific amount of pages. I'm looking for what I'm always looking for, which is an in-depth understanding of the content, a nice reflection of what you read and what you got out of this literature. So remember when you're looking at the rubric that the four things that I've asked for is summary of the text read with excerpts blended with personal thought. So your reflection, your idea on this, critique of the themes and the author's intent, a discussion of the author's qualifications, and a review posted in Goodreads, the account that we made at the beginning of this class. I want you to remember that with emerging technology, sometimes you're going to get frustrated. When you learn something new, sometimes you're going to get frustrated. It's funny. I've done all of these advanced things, like build websites and code and all of this, but I had a funny incident just recently with technology that I thought you would get a kick out of hearing, that even for me, it seemed strange. So I never use mirroring on my computer. I have a lot of colleagues that use mirroring, and for those of you that don't use mirroring, it's like you have a screen like on your computer, but then you have like a secret screen, like it's like a screen you can't see, like an invisible screen. And what it allows you to do, it allows you to have one screen open, like that your kids are viewing a video, documentary, PowerPoint, whatever, but then you also have another screen where you can work. And I've tried mirroring before, but it always just bothered me. I never liked using it. And so I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. You need to start emerging and stepping forward in technology too. This is so silly. So Professor Slater and I work together. We're colleagues at Concordia, and we're colleagues at the school in Long Beach that we work at as well. And so he came over and he's like, "You're just being silly about this." And he's like, "Do your mirroring today." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I set up my mirroring and I was working on it. And then all of a sudden, I needed to stop something in the video, and I wanted to stop at a specific point, and I went to go do my mirroring, and I couldn't get my mouse over into the window, and I was getting all upset, and I unplugged like the DVD from the back of the computer, and the kids are like, "What's going on over there?" And first I was embarrassed, and then I started laughing, and I said, "I'm learning mirroring," and I said, "I'm doing my best," and I said, "It just feels so odd to me, this invisible screen that I can't see." I'm like, "I'm an artist, I have to see it." And the kids got the biggest kick out of that, and several of them came over and were like, "Let's do this together." And I was so very proud of them, because that's what I've always taught them is don't make people feel embarrassed. Don't make people feel ashamed. Help them to understand. Be patient, as you're being a teacher. And you guys all know that as well. And so then, we plugged everything back in. It was a total panicker. And then, one of the kids said, "Miss Wood, it's not the same size screen as your computer screen." And I have a huge computer in my classroom. I do the yearbook work, so I have this huge Mac screen. And the student walked over, and they used their hands, and they showed me that they're like, "This screen is like, it's almost like a pop-up window screen." Nobody had ever told me that before. Okay, nobody had ever said that about mirroring, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. As soon as that person said that, and I had this visual, I had this aha moment of what it was, I was like, oh, that's why it wasn't working when I was doing my mouse down here. And that's why I'm not in, and it all of a sudden completely made sense. And of course, now I love it because I understand it. And I'm sharing this with you because I'm advanced in a lot of things, but sometimes I don't get something either. And and you have to be open. I think that's the one thing that if I could say to anybody, in any job, is that you can't be, you're gonna be you can be embarrassed, but you can't let that get in the way of your learning. You have to be a bit vulnerable at times when people are teaching you, and you're gonna feel, frustrated and embarrassed and humbled by the situation. But if you can step aside from that, if you can step aside from that and allow yourself to be taught, and that's something that our students have to do constantly. Okay. But if you can step aside from that and let it be taught, it's such a good feeling when you finally get something. Like I said, mirroring's the silliest thing. Okay. Just to me, it's the silliest thing. It's a very simple thing to do, but it was just something that I never really liked and I never felt comfortable with. And I didn't like the invisible idea and where were these things going. And then, this is what happens. This student comes and helps me in a very calm, compassionate way, explains something in a visual idea that I can understand. And now, I love it. So I want you to consider that. I know that I've asked you, some of you, to step outside of your box in emerging technology and, with 3D printing and all of these different things and SketchUp, but you did a great job. You tried and you kept moving forward. The last thing that I want to say to you before we're done with this class is remember that your professors at Concordia were always here for you. So even though you move on to another class, you can always contact us. We're here on your MyAd journey. So if you're like, Professor Wood, I just don't understand, I'll be happy to talk you through something. I'll be happy to be here for you. And I know Professor Slater feels the same way, and the other professors at Concordia. So please remember that I'm not the little pop-up invisible window that disappears. I'm the pop-up invisible window in the mirroring that stays. Okay, so you can come back and find me if you need me. I wish you all well. I just want to remind you that all work's due on or before 11:59 p.m. on Friday, and I'm going to be grading over the weekend. And that if you need me anytime this week, or you want to ask me a question about your final work, I'm here and I'm happy to answer it. Okay? All right. Take care, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.